Okay, so today we're going to be doing what the chat wanted, which was Nevamor. So he's going to be the bulk of the live stream, painting through Nevamor. Another one of my favourite characters to play. He's a ghostly apparition. He's the Shade. He's going to be fun to paint. And I've got a few other things to go through in this live stream as well. First of all, you'll notice on the table, I've got this stuff. It's like putty. This is effectively green stuff. I know it's not green. Hey, Chaos, how are we going? So I'll be showing a little bit of how to do that. Now, I had a look at my Wrath is absolutely fine. Actually, my Wrath has not got that mold issue after all. So I found two that I could work on. Taze is one, especially looking at the back of the neck there. I know this is armour, but I can still feel a little bit with there. And the leg of Kalel. So these are two places I'm going to just show how the green stuff works. Yes, I would need to paint over those areas, but I'll show how that works. Also, you'll notice I've been working on some tokens, so I'll show some of those as well. So without further ado, by the way, this is the halo light I was talking about. Which really works well. I mean, it's going to blind this this picture of me, but you'll see how it effectively, and it's got a bending arc, so it's really nice for painting with. And then it's just a clip-on, so it's just got a really heavy-duty clip, a place to place your iPhone, and as I said, anyone could live stream. That's not a problem, or record. So that's what I'm going to be moving on to now. So let's move. I remember to do this time. Let's move into the zoomed in version. So before we get on to Nevermore, let's talk about a couple of things. So I'm not going to do it again. I know my computer can't handle it, but open up Discord. Unfortunately, stopped the live stream last time with Dugrin as I was about to do the metal part. So the first thing I wanted to show, I've just nearly finished the base. So I just wanted to show you Dugrin first of all. In all his glory. I'm so chuffed with this. I think I have given Dugrin his justice. I do have to go, and I have to do this with a few of the miniatures. I have to go through and maybe do something with the fingernails just to make it. But this is Dugrin. I had to get his kind of blue-white eyes on, and it's quite hard to see. You have to really look in to see. But there is a bit of a blue edge to that. The ice, obviously, I did moving through. Oh, and I've just spotted when I was doing the grass, I obviously flicked that, so I'll have to sort that out as well. You got the kind of the ice parts, ice crystals coming out of his cloak. But yeah, he's looking good. I just need to do the black of this part here. And he's got this little emblem on his sporran as well. So Dugrin's done, nearly, pretty much completely. The other thing is I had to do the first player token. So using the contract, just basically the same method that I've done with all the miniatures, just doing Wraithbone spray and then contrast up. So bit of a blinged up first player token, which is pretty cool. Flick that, drop it or whatever it might be. With the gold and silver, and that was the idea. So that's using Lead Belcher to help through. So that was the first player token. Then I went on to wound tokens. I first started with this, thinking I wouldn't need to bother with metal, but it comes out too yellow and too matte for my liking. So I ended up doing pretty much the same techniques, and I much prefer this look. So these are what I'm going to be doing all the wound tokens with, which will take a long time, as you would imagine. Then with I haven't quite finished these. I need to go over the metal. But these are the trap tokens, and I'll try to keep them as generic as possible. They will all be using what's it called? The Basilicanum Grey over the metal to dull it down. So they will all look pretty much like this, and just an Agaros Dunes over the top. So when you flip them over, it should be fine. Now, yeah, of course, there will be slight differences if I really look at it, and I'll be able to tell which is what, but I'm not too fussed about that. But yeah, they're coming out quite well. And this purple I did with the medium. So I managed to get some contrast medium that you can mix in with your contrast paints. It basically acts like water, so it's the same. It does the same job as water, so it's good for mixing your colours. I also got a nice palette, and to do these crystals down here, which I actually preferred to the ones I did up here, I just put some of the Talisar blue up first. I put the Apothecary white afterwards, and then I put the medium, and I kind of blended together in a kind of shade. So I started on the base of them with this one, and then the tops going up to this one. So a bit like you would do with normal paint. Obviously it's dry now because that was hours and hours ago. But using this to effectively blend the different colours, which I probably will be doing with Nevamor, because he's got this kind of greenish glow, which is Militarian green will be way too dark for this. So certainly with this, I'll be doing it. With the lighter kind of purple, I'll be doing it. So I'm definitely, Nevamor will definitely be shouting out, I think, for some, well, possibly, for some, certainly with the hood. This might be Militarian green and Warp Lightning green, come to think of it. Anyway, so that was the tokens. So green stuff. Let's start with Cloak. So the way this works, it activates and it starts to harden as soon as you mix in the yellow with the blue, as you imagine, to make green. It's kind of like a putty, the best way to describe it. So you take an equal amount of each, and you just literally mould it as you would do with putty. I just always use my hands, and it'll go soft, a bit like plasticine. Best way to think of it is a bit like plasticine, in the sense of as your heat of your hands and the friction will start to heat up that putty, it'll start to go green, and just keep folding it into each other as the white and the blue will mix together to hopefully, there we go, it's starting to go green now, and it goes really soft, so it enables you to mould it, which is really nice. There we go. So you can see it's green now, and it's very pliable, but it will start to set relatively quickly. Now, the other thing, you need to apply it, right? So I've just got, I think this is Army Painter, and it's just some applying tools. It makes you feel like a dentist. This is the best way to describe it, really. So let's use a kind of medium one. We've got like a little kind of spatula side, and then a curved spatula side. So I'm going to grab about this much of the green stuff. I certainly won't be using all of that green stuff. Roll it into a kind of sausage, I guess is the best way, into a kind of sausage, a small sausage, and then that's going to be placed over the leg part that I want to do. And then effectively, and this is why I say it's like a dentist. It's like it feels like that was way too much, so I'm going to just take off some. It feels like you're filling in a gap, which is effectively what you're doing. So you start to push it in place. Now you can get liquid. I know that Citadel do a liquid green stuff, which I have used before, which is quite cool. So for very, very small gaps that you don't need quite so much of this on, you can use liquid, and don't be afraid to use your finger as well to kind of lay it. So what I'm actually doing is I'm trying to fill in that gap with the green, as you can see here. Okay, and then use the kind of flat side of this to just push it in. It takes a bit of practice to get used to the green stuff, as it were, but once you kind of get the idea of it, you can just start to, and as it starts to solidify, and as you can see, that's probably needs to be checked up, so I'm just going to get rid of that bit. That doesn't need to be done. Okay, so there we go. So we now filled that gap in, okay, with the green stuff. And that's basically what green stuff is. It's like a filler. I guess is a good way of talking about it. So I'm going to get a little bit more. Turn that into a sausage. Let's get Taze. So the bit I'm talking about with Taze is here. There's a bit too much of a gap there. And obviously the bigger... Hey Kevin. The bigger the... It is Kevin, isn't it? I'm sure it's Kevin Smith. If it's not, I'm sorry. Depending on the size... That's way too much green stuff. Depending on the size of the gap, depends on how much you want to use. And you can always go in with like multiple layers of this stuff. So I'm just going to bring it in here. Now I am aware this is a... let's get rid of that bit. This is a piece of armor. So there needs to be a gap here. And then we just use your finger to kind of smooth it, because you don't want it to be... A little bit more of that. There you go. Okay, so nice and simple again. Then that gap has gone. Now I'm not sure if it was a design for, but look, there's a chunk out of his horn. Kevin works. I've been damned to be Kevin Smith lol. So I'm guessing by that comment it's not actually Kevin. Never mind. I'll call you K Smith. Right, so yeah, I'm obviously going to leave that. I'm not going to touch that. But you will have to paint over anything that you green stuff. Let it dry. So you've got to let that set and dry now. But yeah, that's how I would use green stuff effectively. This was Army Painter green stuff. I haven't got the thing, but you get. I've had this for years, and it still works. So as long as you keep the two separate, and you keep this plastic shielding on, it works fine. Right, so that's green stuff done. Let's get on to Nevamor. The thing of the moment. Don't know if we can call it a man, can we? I don't know if it's... Now, obviously, I've kind of wasted this green stuff. I'm not going to be using it. Now, what people have done is you can create things with green stuff. People use it to model stuff. So let's say, I don't know, you want to do... This is going to really show up my terrible moulding and model making skills. But let's say you wanted to make a lightning strike. What you might do... I don't know how you do that with this, but it's kind of start to fashion out. I might just wasting the video time doing this probably. You start to fashion out a shape, and then you would use your tools. I mean, look, this is amazing. You've fashioned out a shape. Obviously, it would need to be a lot more angled. But for example. Now it's stuck to the board. That is terrible. But I think you get the idea. You can fashion out shapes. I mean, actually, that could be a scarf or something. So you might, let's not use Nevamor as an example. You might put a scarf around old Taze here. So you use that green stuff. You would basically put it round Taze, and then you'd let it dry on the miniature. You would prime the miniature. So you tend to do the green stuff before you prime, of course. So let's say, whatever, I'm just modelling just a piece of randomness here. But you would have that scarf therefore on there, or flag, or whatever you might want to do. So green stuff, a lot of people use it to do modelling and add modifications to their models. Yeah, that was an absolute dismal effort of a lightning strike. But just trying to get the point that you can literally model anything if you've got the skills. I should have put that caveat into the point before I actually started to make it. But, oh well, never mind. Anyway, so Nevamor. So I love his little gargle, kind of undead bird that he's got on his. I'll tell you what, he reminds me of Jafar. He reminds me of Jafar from Aladdin, which is quite cool because Jafar's obviously got the Taze on Hallmark Channel with the scarf. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the new look. It's like a, Mulberry Taze. But anyway. So yeah, this is going to be fun. He's got kind of like the green. This is quite a good picture actually for reference. He's got the light green arms and chest, and then he's got the dark green kind of vines going around his arms, which is quite cool. Then he's got this kind of very red, purple kind of feathers. I guess, yeah, they are feathers, if we look at the model. And then we've got a purple hood with light purple etchings, and then it's kind of like a two-tone. He's still got obviously the feathers down here, and then this is, again, purple as the cloak. So quite similar to Goldar in terms of the purple. And then you've got the vines coming down his back as well. Then you've got the staff. Now the staff is green, so that's like a living staff, it seems. Out of anything I can see from, I mean, that's the only bit of reference we've got. So we've got, the vines going all the way around. I think this will be wood, to be honest. And I have got wildwood, so I'm going to use wildwood on this the first time on that part. And then the kind of the puffy smoke at the bottom, there is no reference art for. So what people have done is, well, lots of different things. But if we look at the box art, you can see that we've got this kind of glow, this kind of blue glow. So again, we might do a kind of blending technique with that. So that's the plan. We've got some ropes and these awesome lanterns that are on the end of the ropes that he's carrying. So cool. Perhaps we could do a kind of, with the medium, and this is, I want to kind of utilize the medium on this particular paint. I think with the medium, we could actually make a kind of glow effect going on the rest of the miniature. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of fun with Nevamor and see how he pops out, as it were. But as always, first one to start with is Apothecary White. So we're going to go in with Apothecary White. I know it's quite late at the moment. Also, with Essenspiel going on at the moment, the virtual Essenspiel, completely free to go and demo stuff. There's no payment for tickets. Mythic Games are currently running quite a few demos. Hell, The Last Saga, which is a Viking narrative-driven game, survival horror, I guess. Super Fancy Brawl, they are still demoing that on Tabletopia. Reichbusters, and of course their latest Kickstarter, Darkest Dungeon. So yeah, plenty of that to go and see, and if you're members of the Discord channel, you'll know about them anyway, because you've probably seen stuff popping up about them all the time so far. Actually, what am I doing? Why am I doing that white? That needs to be bone. Right, great start. Okay, so I don't want to paint that white. That's got to be Skeleton Horde, because that's bone coloured. So take that right back. Brilliant. Great start. So ignore that. And this is the problem with going live, right? If I was just filming this, I could just cut that out. Right. So starting with Skeleton Horde for the bird. Ooh. And what are the guys doing on the watching the live stream? Are you painting at the moment? I know at Chaos you've been talking about you've been doing statues. Still waiting to see the pictures for those, which would be cool. Kind of weathered effect that I think you said you were trying to accomplish, which is cool. And K Smith, I don't know, have you made your way through the Super Fancy Brawl miniatures yet, or? Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the white will, because it's still a bit wet, will still just work with But yeah, I do want this to be bone coloured. That's better. Okay, right. I think I'm going to go straight on to the greens because I can basically just use. I don't have to blend. I don't have to mix, and then we'll crack on with the mixing when we get to the purples. I think, and the blues definitely down here as well. So, Warp lightning green. Militarinum green, and I went to Games Workshop to get the spray so I could actually get Nevamor primed, ready for this evening. And there are quite a lot, not to say there's quite a lot of these contrast paints, so you can get lots of different shades of different colours. Ceramic tiles for my palette and some brushes. Tonight's priming time with the Wraithbone. Nice, Chaos! Priming them up. Awesome. Getting ready to have a go at giving it a paint. Right, so we're going to go in to the body now with Militarinum green. So this is quite a nice light kind of camouflage green. So yellows certainly in there. Try and get in there. And by the way, just using my normal size 0 Series 7 as per normal. Do pretty much the bulk of my painting work. Just trying to look to see what bits. I mean, I'm just going over. Which knows there. I mean, it's not a massive problem. But just going over some of the vines. But I'm going to be going with Warp Lightning over them anyway, so it's not going to be a massive problem. Finger in there as well. Oh, nice. So, yeah, it'll be good. I mean, obviously priming it. Just to be honest, if you just prime them with Wraithbone, they look really good. So you could go away. You could actually just prime all the miniatures, and it will look better than the grey plastic, in my personal opinion, because it kind of gives it a good contrast change anyway. Is that right? Yeah, it kind of gives it quite a nice contrast range anyway. I mean, you see here, you can see the details. The details certainly pop out compared to the grey plastic. So you could almost just get away with just spraying them, and then you can play with them. Certainly for a time until you have time to paint them. Let's just get in there. Okay, this is one hand and one arm. So I will actually be. So I'm a demoer for Mythic Games. So on the Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be demoing Hell: The Last Saga on Tabletop Simulator. Obviously, it's a virtual con, so nowhere meeting up. And I absolutely love it. It's a Viking-themed survival horror game. It's co-op. What's going on there? Oh, is that like the sleeve, I think? So it'd be cool to get anyone interested in seeing what that game's about. And just to plug it a little bit, it's still open for late pledge, I believe. So that's quite cool. All right. That's I do like that green. I don't know why that bit's missed off there. And then just a little bit more in there. Okay, so that's the Militarium green. I actually think this could be like a purple shoulder patch, maybe. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. And that's all the green for the Militarium green anyway. So let's move on to Warp Lightning. Again, just make sure you shake your bottles. That's really, really important. And then everything else is basically going to be this. No, this will be interesting. So this will hopefully give it a good contrast. Mind using that too much. Obviously it's contrast paints as well. Yeah, it looks like got a fair amount of it here. That's wood. Huh. Oh, so it's not right. Okay. It's trying to figure out what bits are what. That there is actually wood. So I'm just going to try and take away that. Doesn't matter if it's a bit green. Okay. So it's still obviously come out green, but we can use the water to kind of just take away some of that. There we go. So you can see now that's certainly lighter green anyway. But the wildwood should hopefully take over that colour, so that'll be fine. And now we keep going and try and hit all these vines. Is that a vine or is that wood? That's vine as well. Now we'll just go up to here. This is vine 2. Such a nice colour, this green. Very vibrant. Yeah, I'll have to find out definitely, Chaos, about the late pledge, but you should definitely give it a go first. Just see if it's your kind of game. I can't remember how much it was. $110, I think, rings a bell. But I'm pretty sure it's still on late pledge. I hope so. I've just said that. Cool. I started Minis Marius, and he has surprisingly been the easiest for me to paint so far. Cool. Yeah, I thought he was alright, actually. He hasn't got many hidden parts, if you see what I mean. So who was the bind? Who was before Dugran? I'm trying to remember my characters. I can't remember. One of them was quite a bind to just get in the detail. Oh, Solka. With a kind of banner on her back. That was really hard to get in between. So that just makes it a lot harder. Whereas Marius, he didn't seem to have any. He's got a very open stance, I suppose. Pretty nice palette of colours. Was that using contrast, K. Smith? Tiny bit there. That's okay, I've got it. Now what's going on up there? Need a bit more there. Cool. Okay, so that's the kind of staff green done. Look at that green. Oh, it's so nice. I do love that colour. Let's wash my brush first. Okay. The price is not the same in the Mythic Games eShop. So it may not be late pledged in that case, in which case it will probably be a little bit more expensive. I'll have a proper look so I know the details of that when I do it. Do a mixture of contrast and layer paint to do some of the highlights. Oh, I would love to see some of that. Creating a smooth layer of contrast paint, I find its purpose for myself as a shade. Yeah, a lot of people are the same. K-Smith. In fact, that's how I basically, before these super fancy Brawl miniatures, that's how I use them. I kind of did the exact what I'm doing now, and then kind of highlighted up with layering. Just make sure you use thin coats of layer for your layers. But yeah, I was the same. What is that? Is that kind of... Yeah, that's one there. So this may well be the brightest Nevamor that's ever graced super fancy Brawl. But to be honest, that's kind of the look I'm going for with all the miniatures, to be honest. So I don't mind that at all. So, God, it's hard to see. I think that's it. On that arm, it's not much there at all. So let's get these tendrils done. Bit Cthulhu, really. Now they have got spikes, which are metal, judging by the art. So we'll be doing lead belcher for the spikes. This is all just green, green, and more green. Oops, well, I've just gone that, yeah, a bit too far. Okay, so that's coming along quite nicely. Just make sure I've got all of it painted. There. Now the purple will be dark inevitably, so it should certainly go over those parts anyway. That's not got a lot of detail, so it's hard to know kind of exactly where. Oops. Something like that. Yeah, I think that's good enough. No, that's actually it. Oops. Get in there. There's a tentacle going down the side here as well, I think. Yes, it is. In fact, there's a tentacle all over that. I haven't done this arm either. So still quite a lot to do. Again, the thorns will be metal, so that's lead belcher. So I'm just going straight over them. Yeah, this is not the easy one to get in to certain angles. And there's more of it. Okay. Oh, nearly missed a bit. Is that? That's just Cloak. Okay. So that's his kind of vines done. I think once you got the dark purple in and stuff, it won't look too bright. But I think that's going to look really nice against the purple. Purple and green is always a nice combo. Okay. So I think the ropes we've got, if we have a look at the rope, which I'll do the same as the one around his neck. I think I use Agaros dunes. So we're going to go with Agaros dunes next. Oh, hang on. There's lots going on. Going back over the contrast or layering it down just once. Yeah, that's exactly what layering is. What I might do actually, because I'm getting quite a few questions about, using that layering on the contrast, is I've got some Blood Rage figures and some Rising Sun figures to paint yet, so I might paint them up and almost show the difference and how. So I'll do one with pure contrast. I could do one of, and they'll be the same kind of sculpts as well. Do one with contrast, do one with contrast and layering, and one completely traditional paints layering. Let's get all these ones done the same. If I can find the time to do all of that, of course. No, I saw that. I saw the fur one. That's the brown fur, isn't it? If I remember rightly. I saw it today, but I wanted to get wildwood rather than that as a colour. I still prefer snakebite leather over all the browns, I think, but I think I'm going to be using that for more of the actual leather work and wildwood for the woodwork. So the staff will be wildwood, and we'll see how it comes out. Now, I'm not massively convinced that you need to, but we'll see. And then, therefore, you don't need to get so many different colours. Oh, how am I going to get in there? As best I can. They're just frayed ends, right? I think that's metal. It's like a metal hoop, maybe, with frayed ends. Yeah, let's go with that. So the frayed ends will do the same. He is such a good character, Nevamor is, to play in the game. I think I talked about him in my kind of review of the Kickstarter box by saying that he's kind of like a utility. He does a bit of everything, and he really does. And one of his strongest abilities is being able to chuck one of his allies next to him from anywhere on the board. So imagine you're kind of... I was talking to a friend about this today, and imagine chucking your Corvash right into the fray next to all of the 3 of the enemies. Amelia, you'd be taking Nevamor will be taking some damage as well, but he'll add to the amount of damage that you're doing to the enemies, and you can basically take out a whole team if they all clump together. It can be really strong. Right, okay, so a red brown. Okay. That I don't have. But again, I'm hoping, now I've got the contrast medium, I can start, and the palette, I can start actually mixing the desired colours together. That's the plan. So I'm hoping that will take fruition. Okay, so there's the rope done, both around his neck and... Oh, hang on, there's one around his waist as well, I've just noticed. Holding his... So he's got like a rope and some around the actual gem itself as well. Whoops. Probably going to have to go over with white on that anyway, because it's a very light blue. Oh, the rope is Agaros Dunes. Moray. Agaros Dunes. It's the same stuff that I used for all the bases. So all of the mud for every single base that I've done on the miniatures is Agaros Dunes. It's a really nice colour. It's kind of that very yellow, light brown. So I do use it a lot for many different things. Okay. Right, rope done. Now we'll move on to the next, which I think will be the purple of the cloak and the feathers. So technically, I would say Shyish purple is pretty much bang on to this colour. Hang on, what was his cloak? His cloak was green, wasn't it? What am I talking about? So the green cloak. Right, I'm going to do a bit of mixing for the cloak. Let's get the feathers done with Shyish purple first. So the purple I used on Goldar, Shyish purple. Now the feathers have got great detail, so this is going to hit this purple really nice. Whenever you got detail, again, looks like they might have the stalks of each feather might be slightly different colour, so I might be going back over with some Rathbone paint, the stalks, but I'm not going to be going around them with this Shyish purple. Oh no. That will take far too long. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go with that gem. It's got some purple in it now as well. Just try and stop any major pooling. Oops. And then just spread that. Right, what's going on here? Is that... What is that? Is that a feather? Yeah, I think so. No, that's the cloak. So that's part of the cloak. Let's go up into here. But as I've said with all the miniatures, they're so nice and chunky, and the detail's so chunky on them. It means that you can just literally let your brush kind of do all the work, get your brush over to parts of it. I've been working on with contrasts from grey dry brushed to white and over metallics to save me doing large units. Nice to see them more vibrant. Yeah, I love contrasts over metal. It's lovely. It gives such a nice effect, and it means you can do all different kinds of metals by just doing one metal undercoat, as it were. God, this is not easy to get hold of. I'm not very happy with that. Okay. Missed out the front of that one. That was terrible. Just gonna try and fix this a minute. Right, let's try that again. So I might be putting my head in the way here, just so I can actually. Okay, so that's the purple colour that's going to come out as. Yeah, I like that. I like the fact he's going to be vibrant. Why not? and you could argue that's, I could have shaded in some, mixed in some brown or whatever to make it darker, but nah, I want it to be vibrant. And again, you'll never see the final product until you've done it completely. So. Okay. I've already got some over the bird already. Been a bit haphazard with me with this at the moment. Again, just water, not loads. Just I'm going to keep going over it until you've taken it away. Hello. Mm-hmm. And what's the hood? Oh, the hood's the same. Well, no, the hood's a bit more bluer. So I'm going to do a little mix for the hood. So I'm desperate to get that medium going and try some more blending, some more mixing. I really enjoyed it using it with Arquette, so I might give that some more goes. Now the shoulder pads are also purple. So these things here. So let's go in there with that. And then that's fine. Then the other one. So I'm going to say that this is purple. There we go. Forgot some of the feathers on the edge here. I guess if I put my brush down here, I might be able to, without completely ruining it. Right, I want to get in there really, as best I possibly can. There we go. Okay. So that's his purple feathers done. I think he's going to look pretty cool. Right, so I kind of want to go into a hood now. So I want to get some blue to this purple. So I'll try and show how I'm doing this. So how I would do it is use the flat surface, because I don't want to be using tons of paint. I'm not going to be needing tons of it. So I've got the purple. Blue. Add the blue over to here. And then I think I'm going to put a bit of grey in there as well, because I don't want it to be really bright. I don't want to actually brighten up the purple. So I've got some grey as well. So I've got me 3 colours next to each other ready to blend in. Then, this may not be the best way to do it by the way, this is just how I'm going to do it. Then put the medium in the middle of the 3. Then we want the blue and the purple as the main bit. As you can see, it's going there. And then I want to chuck in, yeah, I think I'd be pretty happy with that colour. It's like a nightshade blue if you've ever used Citadel paints. Actually, I'm going to chuck in the rest of the purple. I just want a bit of variance with the colours. Is that going to be dark enough for me? It's a nice colour. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's go with it. Okay, let's get some more. Try not to get Okay, so kind of that slight difference in tone. Let's get underneath there. And then the shoal of the cloak itself is kind of a lighter tone. So let's just try adding a bit of apothecary white to that. Oh, hello. Let's start a bit. It's way too much paint, obviously, but never mind. And then we're just going to add that over here. And the medium's in the paint, so I'm not really needing to do any more than that. Actually, and what I'm going to do is just use my finger to clear the rim. And then we're going to go in with this one. And it should be slightly different. I think the other one needs to be darker. Yeah, while it's still wet, hang on. Let's get that Charge Purple back. It's a bit too blue. And then I'm just going to chuck that down here. Mix, mix, mix. Is that too much purple? Nah, that's good. That's better. Or is that too purple now? Let's try and make sure we keep the blue-ish coming on there, so it's slightly different. It does need to be darker though. It's way too light. That's better. What I will probably do now is for this rim, I'll just go over it with some Wraithbone, and then use the lighter stuff. Probably go even lighter than that. It needs to be like if you look at the picture art, it's a very light purple. So we need to go really light with that one. Okay. That's good though. Yeah, I like that hood colour. Looks good. Okay, so I think we'll just go ahead and crack on and do this cloak. Okay, so like a dark Militarian green. So Militarian green again. This time I'm going to use just a well. I think I'm just going to use the black, to be completely honest. Some Black Templar, but very small amount of it, hopefully. Hang on, what's the chat say? I think once you use medium for mixing, if you want a darker 2 coats is probably best. The medium gives it a bit too much transparency. It does. But the problem with doing 2 coats, especially if it dries, is it gets rid of the kind of contrast nature, I find, of the actual paint itself. So the medium's quite good at mixing things together. Yeah, if you just use the medium. And I think, oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe try so, but yeah, as I said, I've tried using multiple coats, and it basically lost that kind of contrast, because kind of going over the same place again. So just one bit of black. I think that'll do it. So I want it to be pretty much the same as Militarian Green. Let's see what we got there. Yeah, nice. So there's that slightly darker green. So I think that'll work. Large areas these. So, bit more black. Tiny bit more black. A little bit black. That's much darker. That's much better. Now, how are we going to stop the pooling on here? That's a very good question. This cloak's not as... I might be reaching some big problems here. What is it? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think this is the first time with one of these models that the area is just too big for contrast, I feel, to get a really nice effect. We'll see. See, this is what happens. If you wait too long, where it pools, you get this kind of... it kind of just takes the paint away, which is not a good look. Oops. Okay, keep going. We have committed now, so I like the colour. It's pretty much right for not much work from white base. Yeah, I just don't know. I've just out of my experience of using contrast. When I've done a second coat, it just doesn't give you that contrast look. But for something like this massive cloak, I don't think that might be better. Just using the medium to kind of almost give you several coats, let it flow a little bit better. I don't know. It might be alright still. I'm running out of that paint though, so let's go back in those colours. So to be honest, I should probably look at YouTube a bit to see what people use this medium for. I asked in the shop, and he seems to say that that's what we use it for, to kind of make your paints flow a little bit better when you're mixing them. Basically, a substitute for water. So in case you were wondering, contrasts don't work well with water. It's a nice colour though. I'm happy with the colour. It's just whether we can... Nice. Right, let's... Yeah, I mean, this part's come out really well because there's so much detail. There's just this part which may come out a little bit blotchy, especially now I've let it dry. We'll see. Bit first stuff on that. Right, get in there now. I think we'll need some more. So let's keep going. Okay, go in two parts Militarian green to 1 part Black Templar with 1 part what's it called? Medium. Okay. In between the vines on the back. Oh, that's way too much paint. Just drown that area. Oops. Yeah, if I can get in there. Oh, there's and the inside of that bit there. Oof, yeah, it's looking alright, I think. Thanks, Chaos. I would probably argue he's probably going to be the hardest miniature I'm painting. Maybe because of his colours and also his sculpt, maybe. But, no, I like the colour. I like the colour. It's pretty much his own one. Is that? Still, yeah. I've got a bit. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's not too bad actually. I'm pretty happy with that. You can see here where I must have painted first and then painted the second time. If you've ever used, oh, I've missed the whole part here. Hang on a second before I move on to that discussion point. Let's make sure we painted all the cloak first. Yeah, if you ever used felt pens before, that's how I always think about contrast paints, is that like once it dries, if you go over it again, it kind of loses that that contrast look, and it also darkens the tone a lot more. Okay, right, let's put that away there for a second. I think it'll come out all right. Right, what's going on in the middle there? It's kind of like a corset, I guess. Oh, right. Okay, so these are the stalks from the leaves from the feathers themselves. So behind that, I might use a grey. No, the stalks will be grey. The stalks of the feathers will be grey. So that's kind of like a green grey. So actually, while we have got this, let's keep it moist using our medium. So that's what I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but you know, no, I need more paint. So another bunch of that Mediterranean green, and then we're gonna put some Basilican grey, fair amount of that in there as well, and see what happens. Hopefully that gives us a green grey. Now the question is, how do you? I think you can just peel this stuff. Yeah, it kind of it kind of dries a bit like a gel, so you can just peel it off. I've missed some green there in his hand. See there. Anyway, what am I doing with this? Oh yeah. So let's just go in there with this. Not being fussed to go over those stalks at the moment. What I might actually do is just use a grey sear paint, or just any old grey, to pick out those details. Definitely need to be picked out though. Okay, and that's different enough to his. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's different enough to the skin and the cloak. Which I've just been pulling all that paint off by touching it. That was a bit silly. It's not too bad. Is it noticeable? No. Okay. Let's get the Black Templar and do the inside of the hood. And then I think we'll move on to the staff. Is that got the blue? Oh, we've got to do the metal work of those as well, yeah, as well. So just get the Black Templar and go inside the hood with that. Like so. Cloud now. With a kind of greenish turquoise. Yes, we're going to use a turquoise on that. His staff's actually a kind of, I don't know, it's like a green crystal. Sorry, a green crystal, of what I can tell. A green crystal. So what I might do is, very similar to Dugran's ice crystals, I'll do a similar effect with this, and then have this kind of like yeah, I'll do it all turquoise actually. I'll do this like a turquoise flame, this a turquoise cloud. I think that could look quite good. Or it may not do, but I guess we'll find out. So, we're going to do turquoise. So my turquoise I've got is Killian green. And then we're going to use the Apothecary white to kind of blend on the miniature with it.